Okay, so we have our demo working. Let's sort of recap everything that we have here. We've got our meal scan. Once we take a photo or type in some ingredients, that goes off to Gemini. Gemini comes back and tells us how much iron, iodine, B vitamins, omega 3, zinc, calcium, magnesium, potassium, choline, probiotics, and fiber it has directionally. This is not a precise number, but on a scale of 60%, it gives us a range somewhere within 6%, or a 6% range within that 60% of daily value that it thinks. And we have that calibrated to a gauge, which gives the parent a feel for how well the meal is doing on that particular nutrient. We've got a little summary area here, which we have actually a better design for, but we didn't put it in just yet because we wanted to do this teardown. We have um, our our outcomes, which are sort of influenced by our nutrients. So if iodine is bad, the color reflects that it's suboptimal, and that color bleeds into our outcomes. And then we have the same thing for the day as opposed to just the meal, where our gauges are calibrated to full daily value, not a part of daily value. Option to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then we have the same sort of outcome mapping here. Then we have our recommendations. So this is good. Now's the opportunity to tear this down, tear this apart, and figure out everything that is, I won't say wrong with it, but is not communicating to our audience the way that it needs to, in an effort to figure out whether or not we need to make subtle tweaks or make more structural or architectural tweaks to actually communicate with the audience and offer or present value to the audience in a way that they can intuitively digest. So, on first glance, this looks like a dashboard. Let's go back to our meal page over here on the left. It looks like a dashboard. It doesn't tell a story. Parents read from left to right, top to bottom. Not just parents, but research suggests that most app users read from left to right, top to bottom. So with this particular app, how do they know that iron, iodine, etc. are important when that's the first thing that they see? They see the photo of the meal, but they see iron, iodine, B vitamins. Why should they care about that? This score here means absolutely nothing. It's a placeholder. I thought about putting something else there, like a suggestion for add-ons. Maybe add some eggs to this, or add a little bit of parsley to help with one of the gaps. But at any rate, this reads like a dashboard, and it doesn't create an intuitive emotional connection from jump. The thing that is supposed to create intuitive emotional connection are the outcomes, right? Memory, emotional control, things that you want the child to be good at, or to have the fuel to do, right? Those are at the bottom, mixed in with nutrients. But where do we summarize the concept of outcomes for parents to get them engaged up top? If parents are reading from top to bottom, where do we summarize outcomes for parents to get them engaged from the beginning, where they start reading? So that's the meal page on the left here. The day page is good, but the gauges look the same as the meal page. So as a parent, I'm asking, are the day gauges graded on the same standard as a meal? Um, if so, that's inaccurate, right? In reality, that's not the case. They're graded on different standards. Meal is graded on 60% of daily value as max. Day is graded on 100% of daily value as max. But the parent doesn't know that. And then we go over to the right. So we say, let's review. We say, to the parent, let's take a look at our recommendations. So we give you ingredients that solve gaps. We even give you amounts for those ingredients, which is good. That's progressive, right? We're getting to the trust versus automation gap, where we've told you, sort of the methodology for how we're coming up with these ingredients, in the sense that your fiber is low, so you need something with better fiber, blackberries. Your iodine is low, you need something with better iodine, rainbow trout, right? But is this how parents think about food? No. Parents think in terms of meals. Parents think in terms of what's for dinner, what's for lunch, sorting through different carousels of ingredients and determining which of today's meals they actually fit in is high effort. For instance, I planned on chicken tonight. Like, let's say I'm a parent and I plan on chicken tonight. The question I have to ask with this app is, okay, I see blackberries, and you're telling me that the kid, needs blackberries, or that blackberries is an option to get the thing they need, which is fiber. So can I work blackberries into the chicken that I planned for tonight? Probably not. So maybe something else from fiber will work. So I have to scroll here, right? This is a static screenshot, but you saw the other demos where this actually scrolls to the next item for, in this case, we're on iodine, but if I clicked blackberries and then this would say fill the fiber gap in blackberries. If I scroll to the next thing, then I'll have an alternative for fiber. But let's say, for instance, I, I find something that's great, but that requires energy, that requires effort. Maybe I'm interested in cream cheese. I can fit cream cheese into a taco with chicken if I have a taste for chicken, or chicken is what it's all we have in the refrigerator. But how would I serve cream cheese with chicken? Have I ever actually done that before? What are the ratios? Hiding advice helps. So, ideas about how to hide blackberries, how to hide cream cheese, that helps, but it's not a smooth experience. It's high effort. So we have some real things to reconsider here. Conceptually, we're providing value. In execution, there are a number of hurdles that we need to get over, and we probably need to reassess our goals to determine exactly how we want to do that. Okay, so remedies. Let's discuss. Our outcome map is thematically telling a story. And if you're familiar with UI concepts, there are always a lot of ways to tell that story. The real question is the climax of the story, or our recommendations and day card. How do we represent, or how do we present choice in the lowest effort way? How do we present choice in the lowest effort way? By choice, I'm referring to choice of food items that we present that can fill the nutrient gaps that were left by the scanned meal. How do we target recommendations at our nutrient shortcomings to fill the trust/automation gap that we identified in our competitive analysis, but also allow choice for the parent requiring low effort? This matrix guides us through that process. On the left, we have choice. On the top, effort. The arrows show what direction is high effort and what direction is high choice. High effort and high choice on the top right together, where they meet or converge, is what we have now. A lot of independent food recommendations, and parents have to do a lot of work to figure out, cognitively, what they actually want or what makes sense for the food they have planned to be added to the food they have planned for the rest of the day. We don't want that. We want low effort and high choice, which is the top left in green. The solution that I have is a single multifaceted recommendation with the ability to edit it. To be recognized by parents, recommendations need to be formatted as a protein, starch, veggie containing meal. Protein, starch, and veggie all in one meal. People eat 3 meals a day, so we can present multiple meals. But parents need descriptive recipe titles. So if we recommend a meal based on ingredients that parents don't recognize, or based on some kind of subjective naming, when it comes up, the parent won't necessarily know what it is or whether or not they're interested in it. At the same time, if we just use individual ingredients, we're not providing enough variety in our recipe offerings or recipe database to probably address a lot of the nutrient gaps that we'll see from meal scans that parents present for what their child ate. So we have to be careful, and we have to be thoughtful about the recipes that we actually include. We need a good source. but we also need a customizable source that allows us to tailor the recipe names, or sort of has good bones for us to get recipe names out of it that are descriptive enough, and have enough variety for parents to address the issues that they need to address. Beyond that, each recipe needs to be stored in the database with its iron density per 100 grams, iodine density per 100 grams, calcium density per 100 grams, B vitamin density per 100 grams, choline density per 100 grams, omega-3 density per 100 grams, magnesium density per 100 grams, potassium density per 100 grams, zinc density, fiber density, and although it's in a different measure, probiotics density as well. So now that we have summarized our product teardown, we have a path forward to change the recommendation structure of our database and potentially present our recommendations, our food recommendations, in the same meal format as our scans, which would allow us to create a dynamic single day page as opposed to a separate day and recommendation page. And that single day page can let us produce meal plans and have parents catch up with real scans. Scan a meal to match the plan, or scan a meal that's different and see, where it fell short, all while tracking the impact of their choices, which is what I just described.